Hello, my most awesome artists. Today we are going to be working on drawing some monsters. So you're going to get your sketch paper and a pencil and a ruler. And what you're going to do is you're going to measure this paper. So I'm going to measure the 0 right at the edge of the paper and get it nice and straight. And then this is 8.5 inches. So what is half of 8.5? If half of 8 is 4, let's say 8.5 is like 4 1/4. Now I'm going to mark there and I'm going to measure the other way. This is 9. Half of 9 is 4.5. So I'm going to mark right here, and that tells me that my paper is getting divided evenly by drawing a straight line from there over to here. And now how many sections do I have on my paper? 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many monsters do you think you're going to be drawing? You are going to be drawing 4. I have a packet full of some creative ideas. Do you have to draw what is in here? No, you can come up with your own ideas. I'm not going to go into a lot of details. I'm going to just draw the body of the monster and like the face and details, like the horns. But I'm not going to draw like super detailed because we are going to then be drawing it a second time. And we don't have as much space to do a lot of details, especially when we paint. So I'm going to create my first monster. I'm just going to have him popping out there. And maybe I'll combine more than one monster together. I wanted to have some horns. So I'm figuring out what my 4 monsters are going to look like. I'm sketching it. It doesn't have to be perfect because this is our sketch where we're figuring out those ideas. But you want to make sure that your monster has, at the very least, some eyes, a mouth, and body. So now I have my sketch figured out. Notice how I kept each monster in its own box. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to return this packet because I don't need it anymore, and I'm going to move to my final copy. Write your name and class code on the back. So your class code is your grade. So let's say I'm 4th grade. And then the first letter of your teacher's name. So let's say that your teacher is me, Miss Miller, but I'm not your teacher. I'm just your art teacher, so it should be your classroom teacher. So I'm going to write 4M. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to redraw my sketch now, taking my time. So once again, I need to break this up evenly into 4 spaces. So this is halfway is 6 inches. I'm actually going to measure it on another area on here so that I can have 2 points to make a straight line. And I'm going to do the same going the other way. So 12 again. So this is 12 by 12. And I'm going to draw my halfway mark here. And then I'm going to do my halfway mark here. Make sure you're measuring up at the same area. If I am measuring over here at the edge of the ruler, that's not the same as measuring it at where the line starts. Nor is it the same if I flip my ruler and I start measuring the other way. Sometimes the sides aren't even. So make sure you check that first. Now I have my lines drawn. So I'm going to connect them together and draw one straight line. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Lining it up, holding your ruler with your hand so it's not moving. And there we go. I have my 4 sections. So I'm going to draw my 4 monsters on here again. Does it have to be exactly the same? No. Maybe if I want to add some more details, I can. That's okay. Maybe as I enlarge it, it doesn't work out as well. That is fine. So draw it first, and then you're going to outline in Sharpie, and then erase in pencil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the color wheel because I want to paint these using complementary colors. Colors that are complementary are colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. So, violet, and yellow are one complementary color pair. Another pair is orange and blue. And the last one, I always think of Christmas, is red and green. So those are our complementary color pairs. So here you can see them together. Violet and yellow, red and green, and blue and orange. These are complementary colors. They complement each other. They look well together. So, with that knowledge in hand, what you're going to do is you're going to paint in these monsters with the complementary color pairings in mind. So one of these I'm going to paint in just using green for the monster body and then red for the background. Another I'm going to do blue and orange, and another I'm going to do violet and yellow, and the last one you get to decide which pair you want to do twice. So if that's a little confusing, I will show you here. So we're using watercolors. Make sure you keep your tray nice and neat. What you're going to do is dip your paintbrush in the water cup, wipe it off, and then you're going to rub it lightly, don't mess up the brush bristles, into the color that you want. And then I'm going to paint in my monster. Take your time. Try to stay in your lines. If your brush starts to get like a little bristly like that, like it's not spreading out nicely, that means you need to add some more water. So dip your paintbrush in the water, get some more water, and it will spread easier. If it is not spreading easy, like that is starting to again, that means you need more paint. We're using watercolors, so watercolors are friends with water. They like each other. They need each other to work well. So I'm going to go ahead and paint in just my monster body in blue. Okay, so now I have my monster body painted in blue. The areas that I didn't want to paint any color, I just left white, so his teeth and his horns. You should not use any other colors in this except for the two complementary color pairs. So since I painted this blue, what color am I painting the background behind my monster in this square? I'm going to paint it orange. So try to stay in your lines and paint this in. Now if you want to paint your monster orange and your background blue, that's perfectly fine. One monster down. Now, should you be mixing the colors together in your watercolor tray? No. Make sure you're cleaning your brush off in between switching colors. If you are not doing that, you will not be painting. So I think with this one, I'm going to make this monster yellow. What is the pair that is across from the color wheel that goes with a yellow monster? Violet. So I'm going to paint the background violet. And then I have one pair left to paint. Can somebody tell me what that last pair is that I have to paint after I do this? Red and green. And then my last box is up to me. So you're going to paint these all three using different complementary colors pair. And there's three of them. The violet and the yellow, the red and the green, and the orange and the blue. So you're going to paint those in, and the last one is up to you. I now have my painting all painted in. I stuck with my complementary color pairs, blue and orange, violet and yellow, and red and green. So I'm going to take this with my mat over to the drying rack. I hope you have found my most awesome artist.